comparison to him. So it means he's not going to be able to hit us if he were running like a longer set of weapons. So anything like artillery-based, beam-based, overall. So I'm going to tag him a couple times, and basically we see that we are actually both moving very, very fast, so it's going to be very difficult for either of us to shoot because we're basically out-tracking our own guns. So what we need to do is typically use a higher tracking ammo or a longer range ammo to where it's not going to be able to dictate some of our damage. So we're at the point to where our radial velocity is going to be relatively slow, so it means we're kind of sitting right at about the same speed, or we're sitting at a point to where we can apply damage to each other. So if he were in a bigger hull instead of a frigate, and he was shooting at me with larger guns, he would not be able to hit me because my speed and my transversal are mitigating a lot of that damage. So basically, I can hold in on him and just wail on him all day. So he can't really touch me. Actually, Tiso, can you get in a bigger ship so we can kind of demonstrate that? And I'm going to be showing both sides of the coin on this, so you know, anybody that's watching for the video of the day, you'll be able to see what it's like to be shot at and what it's like to be basically the tackle, and basically that's what we're kind of boiling down to this. So when you're in a ship that's small and fast like this, you are what's considered fast tackle. So you're able to crawl up on top of somebody and pin them down, so they can't do anything. So you can hold that target down until your fleet arrives.
I hope you're good at this. Don't test it. It's an artillery hurricane coming your way.
Okay, that's fine. So this is actually going to be a nice setup because I'm basically 108 kilometers away from him. So since, you know, if somebody's coming in at, you know, this extreme of a range in a typical fight type scenario, you can basically assume that they're going to be arty. So basically what you have to do is you have to manually pilot, or basically keep your transversal up in order not to get hit by your target. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So I'm gonna go ahead and come in on you, Tiso. So as I do this, I need to make sure that my transversal is relatively high. So as soon as he locks me, he won't be able to shoot me and hurt me. So as I'm coming in, he should be shooting at me as soon as I come into range. So right there, I can see that my transversal was high enough, so I was able to mitigate some of his damage. Not quite all, but
Christ.
Yeah, I'm still good. You're good. So basically, I'm at the point where, you know, I'm safe. He's not gonna be able to hit me, and I'm under his guns. So at this point, I've got him tackled, and he's not gonna be able to hit me unless he pops drones. But those, you know, we're not gonna really.
Ah.
Oh, okay. So he's gonna pop drones. Basically, when I'm oh, okay. We're at the point where if any of my fleet is looking to come in on this, he's pretty firmly fucked. So we're under his guns. He can't hit us. But if for whatever reason I am forced off grid or forced away from him, and I can't hold the tackle, I have to basically do the same thing again in order to stay safe. So I have to pick up my transversal again so he can't hit me. And if, you know, it's an experienced pilot, he's going to basically know what I'm trying to do. And he's going to be trying to match his transversal to mine so he can continue to hit me. And I've gotten out of range of his guns. So that's part of what transversal does. So it helps mitigate a lot of damage for you. So I'm going to reload my ancillary, and then I'm going to do the same thing again, Tiso. I'm going to come in on you.
Sure.
Now, actually what I'm going to... yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and suicide into you, but I'm going to go get a different ship first.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm also going to show you guys what happens if you don't keep up your transversal. If for whatever reason you can't, if you hit the approach button and you come in at a 0 transversal, you're going to be perfectly in line with his guns, and it's going to insta pop you. Especially if he's in a high alpha ship like an Arty Hurricane. So he's basically, if I approach in on him, I'm just going to get completely blapped. What the fuck was this? I've got Reppers on a Rifter. How drunk was I when I did that?
Maybe 6 out of 10.
Something. Parts. So, this is what's going to happen if you just straight up approach somebody when you're trying to go in for a tackle. So, I'm going to basically approach him at a 0 transversal. So, I'm going to be dead center with his guns. So, I'm targeting, and then as soon as the second cycle gets here, it's going to basically nuke me. There it goes. So that is what happens if you come in at a 0 transversal. I'm getting tweeted at. Alright, so Tiso, I'm going to demonstrate what is going to be like against, or, somebody that is, trying not to get tackled. So if you want to get into a tackle ship,
Sure.
This is not an arty. I might actually have to build a ship for this. Corax. Oh, no, this book, my bad. Alright, I'll do an Omen.
Omen. What are you looking for? A frigate or a...
Yeah, a frigate or, something that's fast. That can
Sure.
take a couple hits. Alright, ready whenever you are.
Just fine.
Alright, so next step is basically to show you guys what it's like from the defender's side. How you doing, X4? So many tweets. I'm actually pretty stoked about winning that 60-day game time. That was pretty freaking cool.
All with our beautiful faces on it.
Well, Swiv's half a beautiful face. Your full mediocre face.
Ah. On my way.
Alrighty, let me know when you land. Hopefully this year I'll actually be able to get my hands on playing a round of Valkyrie. I didn't get to do it last year.
I was like too hungover every day to make VR work, I think.
Oh yeah.
This is hull tanked, so
Okay.
don't be scared.
Alright.
Don't be scared, but
Alright, so go ahead and come in on me.
I have to find you first. Down below.
So basically, I've picked an ammo that would hopefully be able to track him at a longer range. But as soon as he comes in, we're going to start seeing our damage drop off and then start to completely miss. So he's well under my guns right now. His transversal is going to be very, very high, and I am at the point to where I am scrammed and webbed. So coming in on that, it's I saw that he was coming in, and at that point, as he was coming in, I probably, in a kind of a real scenario, I would have had my NWD on and try to get out and away from him. But Tiso, if you want to go rep up, I'll show them what the next step would be. And I would probably get in something that you can afford to, or that would be good to lose.
Okay. I think I've got a remote rep rifter somewhere.
Alright, so the next aspect of this is going to be combining, basically, I have to kite him, so I have to be trying to go faster than him while he's still within my gun range. So basically, I want him to trail me to a point to where as I'm moving forward, my guns are pointing back, and he's going to be able to trail me and kind of, hopefully get hit by all my guns. But hopefully he will be manually piloting and trying to get as much trans up as he can. So basically, as I'm moving forward, he's going to be trying to come up and over, so my guns actually have to track him, and he will then eventually kind of come in and down on me. Or, depending on what he wants to do, he'll go over, straight up, down, and then up, or an arc in. So that's kind of going to be the easiest way for him to be able to tackle me. So it's actually kind of we're going to show all aspects of it. I don't know, actually, I don't know if CEO wants me to kind of turn this into a tackle stream, or basically a thing, a legitimate training, or just continue what I'm doing with just transversal.
On my way.
Alrighty. Alright, so as soon as he lands, I'm basically going to turn in another direction and try to move out of range of him before he can tackle me. Alright, so he's about 50 kilometers away. Basically, in a situation like this, I would then realize that, oh hey, he's very close. I need to start moving away from him very fast. So, at this point, he's 23 kilometers away, and that is very bad news for me. So I need to get out. Yeah. So what are you in? A malediction? Crusader.
Executioner, bro.
Executioner. Okay. So basically,
oh, close.
I pulled my guns.
Get him.
So that was kind of a bad warp in for me, but that was great for you because you were basically right on top of me.
The double polycarbon / overdrive helps as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
Did didn't build this just there.
Let's see, how far away from the warp are we? Alright, can you warp up to the beacon again? And then come back down on me, basically at a kind of a better range for me.
I won't overheat my MWD this time because it's 72% damage.
Okay, all right. So at this point, I'm gonna look at this and say, oh hey, he's coming in on me, and he's at a 0 velocity, and I'm kind of waiting around trying to figure out what he's doing, and then I see he's starting to pick up speed. And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, maybe I can kill him. I don't know if he's got friends. But as he's coming in on me, I see he's starting to pick up major speed, and he's basically going to be very, very fast. So what I'll want to do is continue to want to start moving, and as he's coming in, he's going to start to get dragged in under my guns. So he's got to basically come in line against me. And basically I'm looking at my transversal and his transversal, and basically I've got to try to stay faster than him. And then
harder I try to get close, the more damage I take.
Yep, and that's exactly what I needed to have happen. So he and I are both very, very fast, so our entire point was to be faster than each other. However, he needed a little bit more.
I need to burn straight at you.
Yeah,
up and around without you staying at a distance. So I have to burn really low transversal, and then when I do that,
yep. So
ship.
Basically, what ended up happening is, so my weapons, they're artillery, so they have a good amount of range to them. So the risk that he runs as he's coming in against me is I'm moving in a straight line, and as he's coming in, he is going to be able to take more damage from my guns. So because he wasn't able to go down and around me and basically pick up enough speed to come in and under my guns, because he didn't have any heat on his micro warp drive, so he wasn't able to burn faster than my guns. So he actually was in the perfect straight line, and my ammo choice was that of a medium range as he was coming in, because he was roughly at 30 kilometers, which is kind of in a good area for the ammo that I chose, which was multi-freak. So that's an optimal 25, fall off of 39. So that was kind of the perfect range for my guns. So basically, as I'm tagging him, as I'm shooting him, it just keeps continually tagging him as he's coming in towards me. So if you can do one more super cheap ship, just a rifter with an MWD fit, we're gonna show the example of a dead burn at 0. At 0 trans.
For some reason, I've got a stack of executioners.
Okay.
Today's the day they die. I tried so hard to spiral on that second attempt.
I saw, and it, because you had absolutely that. I mean, you didn't have any heat, so that's why. Yeah. And I did add heat, so I was trying to avoid that. All right, so he's at roughly 100 kilometers. So if I'm looking at this and I'm just kind of putzing around, I see that if he's going to come in at a 0 trans, basically, I start shooting. And since he's at a 0 trans, basically every single hit is going to tag him before he even gets close. Well, 19 kilometers, that's actually really close.
Not close enough.
Not
is
close enough.
The issue.
Yep. Alright, so let's what else can we show with Transversal?
Could show the Transversal doesn't need to be against like someone trying to attack you. It could be against like two ships 100 kilometers away shooting each other, matching their trans sort of deal.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do a match trans. But let's do it in armor ships and in armor cruisers, so we have some
armor cruisers.
We have a little bit of buffer to work with.
This is when I find out that I'm a shield guy rather than an armor guy. We could do the ONIs again. It's pretty much the best armor ship I've got for cruiser rides anyway.
Sure. I mean, up to you.
Yeah, I've got an ONI. Sun waiting. It's not 100 kilometers, but it's still modest range.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. So let's both warp to
0 and burn away.
Yeah. Alright, so I will go ahead and be the one that burns away. Never mind.
Too late.
Alright, so as soon as you get about... Yeah, that looks about right. Let's go ahead and both align to the Ashab gate. Or, well... You go ahead and align to the Ashab gate. And then, basically, I will kind of not be aligned, and I'll kind of shoot at you, and then...
Copy.
Basically, I'll have trans on you, and then I'll match to you. So, basically, at this point, what's gonna end up happening is I'm gonna try to pick up as much trans as I can. So, neither of us are gonna be able to hit each other. So, I'll just tag him. Alright, let me just tag. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to just pick up some speed here. Get some trans. So at this point, neither of us can hit each other. So we're missing. Our guns are missing, and we're kind of. I mean, we're still well within our optimal. So basically, what ends up needing to happen is, in order to apply better, I need to get back in range. Oh, your pulse?
Yeah, maybe pulse.
Okay.
Just realized it's scorching.
Alright, so I'm gonna...
We can still demonstrate.
So I'm gonna get back in within range of you to lock you. Alright, so... I'm still at a relatively high trans, so he's not going to be able to hit me. I'm not going to be able to hit him. So all of a sudden I realize, oh hey, I need to match trans with him. So he's at 1,000 trans, and I basically need to look at him in space and see what he's pointed towards. So I'm basically going to click in space towards whatever he's aligned to, and then that's going to drop our transversal. So we see right now, transversal is starting to drop, and then kind of pick back up. So I need to kind of close that and see right here, our transversal is dropping, and then basically I can start tagging him again and start applying damage. So he and I are both applying relatively well, so our trans is pretty well matched. Are you armor or shield?
Armor.
Okay.
Mildly thin armor, but armor nonetheless.
Okay.
You can see it's penetrating hits, rather than grazing hits, misses.
Alright, so I'm not in a good range, so basically I need to get back out, and because he's able to tag me relatively well at this range, so I need to pick trans back up and start getting away from his guns. So he's shooting damage at me that is not... Oh shit, I actually needed to start my MWD. So he's trying... Are you trying to match my trans?
Nope, I just picked up speed. But I can do.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So basically at this point I was in a bad spot because he had broken my tank. I was out of shields, and I'm a shield tank, so I needed to get well and away from that. So basically what I need to now do is come back in on him and pray to whatever god I can that he doesn't notice that I'm coming back in and start applying to him. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is he knows exactly what I'm doing, and then he's going to be able to counter that by basically slingshotting me and snagging me. So still a relatively high trans, so I'm going to start tagging him from range, because at range, transversal isn't as important as it is close range, because especially with faster ships, I can, or his guns won't be able to track me as well. So again, what I'm going to do is look at and see what he's aligned to, basically slow down accordingly, and then pick the right ammo for the job. And then continue to manually pilot around him while I am able to keep up a good amount of trans. So we're both well within each other's range of guns, so that's kind of dangerous for both of us at this point. The song right now that's playing is perfect for this. It's what is it? The Waltz of Flowers.
Lots of flowers.
It's beautiful music because we're dancing right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's that, I suppose. So I'm gonna cut my damage and let my booster reload. So there's matching trans. So basically, as you know what, we're gonna shitty paint this. We're gonna shitty paint this.
Shit.
So I'm gonna dock up while I shitty paint the fuck out of this. And away I go. Order down. Alright, there we go. Alright, so shitty paint hype. So let's go ahead and do this. Alright, so this is going to be a 0 trans. Equals perfect damage. Application. You never want to do perfect trans. Perfect trans will get you dead very, very quickly.
Or it will get the other person that you're trying to shoot dead.
Or the other person that you're trying to shoot deaded. Absolutely correct. So, as in a kite type scenario, this is what you want to do. So I want to be going faster than him. And pray that he goes slow. Slower, at least, so I can track. Because my guns aren't going to be able to track anything, you know, aren't going to be able to track as well. So this is going to be... that's not gonna work well. So I'm gonna draw this shit. So my objective is to go that way at a high rate of speed. So my guns can pew pew back behind me. And as he's approaching me, he's taking damage. So that's kind of the perfect scenario for kiting. So I'm able to apply to him while he's chasing me. So my transversal and his transversal are going to be very, very similar. Well, they're going to be hopefully 0. That way I can apply while he can't. So it just works out better that way. I mean, obviously math that I'm not very good at would do what I needed to. But in the case of matching transversal, so if I need to match somebody's transversal to apply damage, that means he and I need to be going at the same speed in the same direction, generally speaking. There are ways you can match transversal other ways, but generally the easiest way is to do it by going the same speed at the same direction. So basically it's going to be like the broadside battles of good old warships of the past. So we will want to be going fast together because love. The love of the game. So at this point, we want to be able to shoot each other as a broadside. So we're going to be exchanging fire, and kind of the determining factor of who wins a engagement like this is going to be whoever is able to establish a better orbit. That way you start beating his transversal or his range or his range of damage because you're either going faster or you're applying better. So if for whatever reason he's faster than me, he will then start a more of a circular orbit around me, and then basically start circling me while his transversal is high, mine is going to be low, or his transversal is high, my transversal is low, so he's going to be able to throw damage into me as he's orbiting. Good news for him, bad news for me. So if he can beat my speed, beat my orbit, and apply to me at a better rate of pace, then that's phenomenal for him. At that point, I'm screwed. I'm dead. Because especially if he's in an armor ship, he's actually going to start spiraling in. So if my direction is here, and he's able to beat my transversal, he's going to start coming in and around in a tighter and tighter orbit until he's going to be able to beat my guns in their tracking, and then he's going to be able to establish a perfect orbit around me and then lay into me non-stop. So, does that make sense? Hopefully, I'm explaining this well. Tiso, did I miss anything?
Not that I can think of.
Does anybody have any questions? Well, your patented teaching methods, CO, are, well, mine now.
It's a corporation patent.
Yeah, it is a corporation patent. It's trademarked to the UHurt Corporation, not Sir Squeeble's LLC.
And before we get kicked.
So, I don't know if there's anything else that we can hit with this. That's not surprising. You know, UHurt does have plenty of spies. WeHurt has plenty of spies. We're okay with this.
Well, on the subject of damage mitigation via transversal, that's just with guns. You can always speak about missiles. Unless it's maybe too broad. They are their own special kind of things.
That is, I mean, I understand how missiles work, but I don't know how to explain how they work.
That is a dirty woman navy. I'm just looking at your stream. You should take that out. You should fight it.
It is pretty dirty. I mean, I haven't repped it up.
But the once you take it out from your hangar and actually fly it in fights, it becomes less dirty. That's the... If you have a ship that's been in your hangar for a long time, it gets like really dirty.
Really?
That's the... Yep. Oh, I can send you a screenshot of mine right now. It's beautiful and clean. Let me get a screenshot.
What does this hurricane look like? Should be super dirty.
I'm not sure when they implemented it from though. It's kind of weird.
I mean, I can try to explain how missiles work. And then we can demonstrate it. So, missiles work a little bit differently than projectile weapons, blasters, railguns, artillery, beams, all that good stuff, because they actually rely on missile speed, signature radius, or missile velocity, signature radius, and then explosion velocity, I think, are the ones that are the kind of key factors. So for example, we'll use let's just do light missiles, for example. So if a missile has a large explosion velocity and a large explosion radius, that is better for hitting larger targets. So basically, if I'm shooting missiles from this ship to the bigger ship, it's going to be based upon the signature radius of the ship. So if it's a cruiser and I'm in a frigate shooting light missiles, those missiles are going to apply very, very well. So they're going to apply full damage, in theory, to the larger target, because one, the missile is exploding at a fast enough rate that the cruiser, we won't go into that aspect just yet. So if the missile is exploding on a larger sig radius target, it is going to apply full damage. So light missiles from here, So that is going to be part of the way missiles work. So small systems hitting large targets are going to generally apply full damage. However, on the inverse, a larger target shooting a smaller target will not apply full damage because the signature of the larger missiles and the explosion velocity of the larger missiles are going to be slower. So large missile to small target will mitigate damage. So the reason why it's going to mitigate damage is because the missile explosion radius is going to be larger than the ship itself. So the detonation of the warhead is going to be bigger than the ship itself. So as the missile is traveling at a slower speed and the ship is traveling at a higher speed than the missile explosion velocity, that technically speaking, that weapon is going to be detonating behind our target. So if we're shooting missiles towards the small target, the ship is moving faster and it's going to detonate behind us. So that's why you're mitigating damage, is those systems are exploding before after they get to you, technically speaking. Fast is good against large missile systems. So I guess that's going to be the next thing that we demonstrate. Still with me, Tiso?
And there's a suspect magnet on the star and a Mar. Just gonna go kill it.
On the star and a Mar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I have a malediction? I do.
I mean, I'm just burning at it and it's going 0. I'm in his trials. He will be dead shortly.
Is it at 0 of the sun itself?
It was at 100, I think, from a different warbin, but he's still sitting 0. Wait, he just dropped combat probes. And he's about to die. He's dead.
Okay, never mind then. Alright. So... if you have a moment, if you want to...
Just gonna pod him, I guess, as soon as he's sitting still.
Go for it.
Oh, it worked. He worked. That was weird.
Alright, so if you want to get in like a heavy missile...
Tengu? I think I've got a Tengu.
Tengu, or I have a Cyclone that you can borrow as well.
Yeah, I'll borrow it, because the only thing I've got heavy missile is Rapid Heavy Rattlesnake, or a Tengu.
Yeah, I'll loan you the Cyclone. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys missile mitigation next. Well, that's basically what I'm going to show you next, is why larger missiles can't hit a small target.
Okay, no matter what.
Alright, give me just a sec. Alright,
If
so...
you send me 100 million ISK, we'll double it as well.
Yeah. I don't anticipate anything going sideways here.
Hams. I don't do hams.
You don't do hams. Okay.
Yeah, I can refit to heavies, normal heavies. It's fine.
Yeah, I think... Do I have a Drake? I might have a Drake. I do have a Drake. Is it a heavy missile Drake, though?
Wait. Do I have a Drake? I always have a Drake. I've got a Drake. Panning over.
Alright, I have... Yeah, that's just a standard heavy missile Drake.
Yeah, I've got one too.
Okay.
We Gucci.
Give me my Cyclone back, you bitch.
One sec, I need to put the mods back on it. Press accept.
Oh. My bad. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead, undock, and hit our spot. Alright, so before we start, let me show you this. So the ship that I'm in has a very, very small signature radius. That's basically going to dictate how well weapon systems apply to my ship. So the bigger the signature radius, the better the damage is going to apply. So mine is 33.
As a counterpoint means it's 356.
Say again? 366?
356.
356. 356.
Mm-hmm.
And then his missiles are... What's the explosion radius?
Let me get it. Explosion velocity is 113 meters per second.
113
Meters per second.
meters a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the explosion radius?
Is 112 meters.
12 meters. So Hey, Bob. Good to see you. So, basically, his weapon system is going to be a lot slower than me as far as my speed is concerned. So, my speed is 5,220 meters a second. So, by the time that weapon system detonates, I have already moved almost 5 kilometers away from that explosion. So that's what I mean. That means I'm going to be able to mitigate a lot of damage. So my weapon systems are light missiles. So info attributes. So my explosion velocity is going to be 170 meters a second. And then my explosion radius is going to be 40 meters. So my weapon system is a lot smaller than his. So that means because how fast do you go?
With an afterburner, I go 400 meters per second.
Okay, so 400 meters a second.
I'll push.
So basically what we're looking at is so his signature is 356. So if my explosion radius is going to be 40 meters, I'm going to be able to apply all of that damage if he's sitting at 0 meters a second. So when I fire my weapon system, my missiles, they are going to hit him perfectly. So everything's going to be able to tag him perfectly. But because he has a certain amount of speed, he's going to be able to mitigate about a quarter to maybe half of the damage that I do to him. So I'm going to go ahead and start orbiting him. Let's just do at 30. So here in a sec, I'll call for the fire. As soon as I hit my orbit, here we go. All right. Go ahead and shoot. Alright, so his missiles are away, and
They can barely catch you.
they can barely catch me. So I am mitigating an incredible amount of his damage. So as it's coming in, it's hitting me for 44. So I'm moving very, very fast. His missiles can barely catch me. So if I were to shoot at him... Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shoot at him, and basically we'll see me applying absolutely perfect damage to him. Well, it's not going to be... well, I mean, I hit you better, so I'm hitting him for 144 damage per hit.
In a much smaller ship.
In a much smaller ship.
Etc.
So that's why in... Yes, that's going to be the next step. So I'm going to go get into a different ship really quick. So go ahead and pull your damage if you haven't already. Cool. So I'm going to go get in my... what should I get in? I'll figure it out here in a minute. So, what's going to be good kind of to show this? A rifter. A rifter will be good. Just got to wait for my combat timer. Alright, I will be right back.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
Whoops.
Actually, I'm gonna do this Fed Navy comment because it's got plenty of buffer. Slightly bigger sig, but that's no big deal. All right. Alright, so next up is to show you guys what happens if somebody sits at 0 speed and all that good stuff. Alright, Tiso, go ahead and throw some missiles at me. So I'm going to sit at 0 speed so you guys can kind of see how well missiles will hit a stationary target. So because I'm 100% stationary, his missiles will be able to hit me very, very well. So I'm not able to outrun or mitigate any of that damage. So here we just see him just kind of wailing into me. And then...
The damage still isn't spectacular.
No, it's not. I mean, your explosion radius is still really, really big, so it's not going to apply greatly to me because I've got a SIG of 42.
Yeah, I should have an alpha of 1,500 on like perfect circumstances, and I'm only hitting you for 260.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start picking up some speed, and we'll see. I mean, granted, I'm going to have a signature bloom, so my SIG is going to start blowing up. So but he's still going to be able to hit me. I mean, he'll still be able to apply some damage, but micro warp drives will actually explain, or we call it bloom out. So it's just going to get, your ship's signature radius is going to get a lot bigger. So that means when your micro warp drive is running, you're actually a much bigger target. So it's a lot easier for even larger weapon systems to hit you.
But in this case, you're moving fast enough.
But right, so I'm moving just quick enough to mitigate a lot of his damage. So it's a little bit harder for him to basically kill me. So basically what's going to end up happening is, if this were a fight, I'd leave by now. So
I mean, that amount of technical frigate is...
yeah, that's why in Eve, you know, bigger is not always better. So he's in a battle cruiser. He's in a big beefy ship. He's got a lot of tank. But you know, because Eve is, you know, a game of how many friends, do you have, and how many friends do you bring, and how many, are you confident in your ability as a singular pilot, or do you need help? So in this case, I would definitely need to call in some help, but because if I were in a group of, 5 or 6 different small frigates like I am here, we can basically take that ship and completely start chewing it up and, eat him for dinner. I mean, Scotsman is always tasty, but... So yes, they do have a stacking effect, so you can start adding a whole lot of target painters to a single target, and that's going to do the same thing as the micro warp drive. It's going to start blooming their sig bigger and bigger and bigger, so their missiles or artillery or whatever weapon system that you're using is going to have an easier time hitting it. So because you then become a larger target to shoot at. But there is a point of diminishing returns to where you can stack. I don't know how many it is, but there is a point where if you there is a max number of target painters that you can have on a single target before it just becomes worthless to stack anymore. I don't know what that number is, but it's there. It does exist. There is a diminishing return to it.
Usually you'll find then, say, if you're in a fleet of maybe 5 or 6 people, one guy has got a paint. That helps.
Yeah,
if one guy's
absolutely.
got 2 paints, that's about as maximum as you really need.
Yeah. 2-3 paints is usually more than enough for
The situations that I fly in anyway, just say 5, 6.
Yeah. And then I can also, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring out my Cyclone Tiso, and we'll show them, basically big ship versus big ship.
Yeah. How these missiles are supposed to apply. I think you can break my Drake.
I don't know. Can you break my Drake?
I don't know if you can. Correct.
I'll repair that ship later. Alright. Alright.
I should have taken the synth crash booster that I have in the cargo here. This is the RR Drake. That's what this is.
This is not an RR Drake.
For some reason I've only got kinetic and explosive missiles.
Well, we're connected bonus, aren't we? We should be connected bonus.
On the Drake?
Yeah. Yeah, it's connected bonus.
We are.
No. No?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is connected
Yeah, we are.
bonus.
Yeah, but I thought I would have brought EM as well. Yeah, I was using explosive missiles on the last one, but it only adds an extra 100 DPS, which
Yeah.
would have been mildly not great.
Alright, so next step is basically you guys get to take a look at what it looks like when 2 big ships shoot at each other. We're basically, it's going to be an all-out brawl, so... I should probably turn on my other invuln.
No, don't do that. It's fine.
So basically right now we're both hitting each other for full damage. Except my damage is better than his.
Do you have BC5?
Yep.
There we go.
I have BC5 and I also have 2 invulns.
I have 2 invulns also, but BC4 yo. Might even be BC3. Let's have a look. Because this is going to take ages regardless.
So, I mean, for the sake of argument, you know, I have a signature radius of 416, which is actually bigger than yours.
Yes, it is. You have an LSE?
2, in fact.
I've only got one. I've got a EM word amplifier, a cat booster, and an AB.
2 invulns, 2
another
LSEs, MWD, or not MWD, AB, and Scram. And then core defense field extenders, 2 of those, and an anti-EM.
I've got an anti-thermal, a core defense, and a loading bay thruster.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this thing is like resist across the board. This is the dream.
Yeah. 70, 72, 79, 82 for my setup.
Means it's 76, 75, 78, 81. Without overheat.
Oh, yeah, with heat.
No, without overheat, so I'm
Oh.
overheating now. So overheating I'm 78, 79, 81, 84. And that's with BC4. God.
I'm gonna heat my invulns and see what they get up to. The other part of what we're talking about is our resistance profiles. So basically with heat we gain better resists. So we're gonna be able
4%
to
on attack 2, I think.
yeah.
6% on attack 2.
So with heat I went 75, 76, 82, 85.
Burning in for the no point bump. Should have been overheating my afterburner, getting the damage mitigation going. An extra 100 MS. Get him. Boink.
So basically the reason why he's losing here is just a difference in fit. I'm a little bit tankier and have a little bit better skills
Stop.
than him. Yeah, I'm stopping, I got you.
I don't want to lose this. This is my baby. This dies in probate or doesn't die anywhere else. I know what I did do right.
Oh. Drones.
And you're 85% resist. Totally fine.
So I'm gonna shoot your drones because this is essentially the same thing as what you know it was when I was in that frigate. So super small signature is not going to apply very well to a very small target. Or large missiles again don't apply to very small targets well. So yes, I'm hitting them, and yes, I will be reimbursing you for these, but you know this is big thing.
These are small drones. They should be dying with this big sort of weapon type. Because they've got a little HP compared to
Well, right. I mean,
like less than a frigate. So
they do have less than a frigate, but still, it takes a couple volleys in order to kill these things.
it's just because of the speed that they're orbiting you at, and
Exactly.
all that good stuff.
Which is exactly what we were talking about with the other
Yeah, the frigate.
the frigates, yeah. So, oh, wrong button. Where do you think you're going?
I'm AB, bruh. Building up that trans.
So, okay, well, I guess that explains missiles relatively well, I suppose. So, anybody have any questions about missiles, transversal, damage application, damage mitigation?
Kated.
Say again?
Kated.
Cade.
Not scrubbed it out. The dream.
I'm confused.
I just kated out of your scram.
Oh. Yeah,
It
you,
only took me 35 seconds. You sold me warriors.
So CO's question to both you and I, Tiso, is why we both own Drakes.
This is the RR Drake. This is a Dale Drake. I follow Dale. Don't follow CO.
Yes, absolutely correct. There are T2 missiles that will have a higher explosion radius that will apply better to even larger targets. There's also javelin missiles which are designed to hit smaller targets as well. So they'll actually have a smaller signature, explosion signature. So basically, higher explosion velocity, smaller explosion radius for the javelins, which are designed to hit the smaller targets, and then the rage rockets, which have slower explosion velocity and a larger explosion radius. So, CO, do you want me to do a, kind of a tackling guide? I know that's something that you had planned on doing, but since I have the stream live right now, would you like me to do that?
No whisper target found.
Huh. Oh, I know what that is. Never mind.
This say no malediction.
Yeah, I guess. Let's try to remember why I did that, but I do remember now. Yeah, that's what I've been doing, CO. I've been uploading them both to Twitch and to YouTube, and then kind of posting them in posting them to the New Hurt guys for viewing. But also, depending on what you want to do with those, you know, obviously your slave.
Rip.
Yeah, that's okay. I want that fit by all. So I guess we might as well do a legit tackling vid. So basically we're going to take into account, you know, everything that I've done about Transversal and well, basically everything that we've covered today. So, Tiso, if you want to hop in a cruiser.
Sure.
And it's going to be up to you how you want to fit it. I don't particularly care. Actually, yeah, it's a good thing. It's good that you surprised me. That way, I can show these guys, you know, how I would want to counter that, etc.
I'm going to leave the previous Rex on grid. We can
Okay.
talk about that
Alrighty.
as a thing.
Yeah, we can go over that as a positioning type thing. All right.
Says
All right. So basically, I'm gonna land on grid. I'm gonna see that. Okay, so he's in a vagabond. So that can be kind of dangerous for me. So basically, I've got a really good warp in on him. And I need to basically spiral in on him and try to get him pointed. And stay alive. Oh, so he's scram fit, so this is bad for me. So basically, I gotta pray to whatever god I can that I can. Yeah. Basically, at this point, he can rip me a new one.
so was they good old slingshot Roo.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably stop hitting my scram.
Be free. Shit. I just signaled my XLASB 4 times by accident.
Whoops. Alright. So, I made a gamble. I went in for the scram because he's very, very fast, so I wanted to be able to shut him down, but I didn't anticipate him being scram web fit. So that's bad for me.
Bad news bears.
Very. Alright, I'm gonna rep my heat real quick. So, had I known he was scram web fit, I wouldn't have gone in for the scram. but to a point, I had him disrupted, so
I couldn't go anywhere.
he couldn't.
Maybe 3,000 meters per second, but I wasn't warping off anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean,
You could keep.
I could have kept up with him just fine. I could have thrown him into a kind of a loose manual orbit, and until my fleet had gotten there, in order to kind of kill him.
Seven 4-2 without MWD. Have you got snakes in?
Oh, you have snakes in?
Have you got snakes in?
Have I got snakes in? No.
Jesus. Malediction's great.
I actually don't have anything in my head. I could go get snakes. No, I can't. I can't. My
Do that. Suddenly 20 more targets.
I know, right? Alright, so I'm gonna come in for the tackle again. So I see that he's going 2,600, so he's moving at a pretty good clip. So I basically want to kind of spiral in on him and basically snag him, so he can't really get me. So I don't know if he's arty. Well, I know that he's not, but in a typical scenario, I don't know if he's arty or not. So basically, I need to be able to, you know, keep my distance from him and keep my transversal up and be able to point him.
I know, I'm conscious chasing you.
Yep.
Like a fish in a barrel. Oh, I fell overhead. Ah.
And now I've kind of slung out because I'm a lot faster than him. I need to basically be very, very careful how I orbit him. Because if I get too close to him, he's going to be able to scram web me. I mean, not in too much of a danger if he is long point fit, but, you know, a long point on a malediction isn't that big of a deal. But if I drop, you know, if he's got links or something like that, he's going to be able to extend out his scram, so I want to stay well without of the range of his scram and his web. So basically I need to continue to stay in long point range. So now he's tried to slingshot me. And I need to continue to you know, not get caught.
By this time, probably fleet would have come in. And
Yeah,
Mali
yeah.
would be
The
dead,
fleet
so-
would have landed by now, and you know he'd be scrammed and he'd be dead. So
Yeah, there's
that's
all
what
time playing
a
about.
fast tackle kind of looks like. So all right. Suetonia is now hosting me for 81 viewers. Welcome, guys. I'm doing a little bit of a newbie stream today. I'm kind of focusing on basic damage mechanics in EVE. Basically, I've gone over transversal, damage mitigation, damage application, and some fast tackle type stuff. Did you just warp to a different tack? Oh, you just warped up to the beacon.
Direct.
Alright. So, another thing that is really kind of critical in EVE is grid positioning. So, if for whatever reason you find yourself in a fight and there's a couple wrecks within warpable range that give you a good position on your target, you can use those to your advantage. So for instance, there's 2 wrecks over here. So one is, 272 kilometers away from him, but he's right on top of that. So I don't know if he's scram web fit, that can be very dangerous for me. So kind of what I want to do is choose a position that's going to be advantageous for me in order to catch him a little bit more effectively. So I've kind of worked up to this other spot, and he's still not in range. So if he's in kind of a larger fleet, they may not have noticed that wreck in order to get them a warp in. So actually, that wreck isn't within warp range for me, so I'm going to burn out here for a sec. Alright, so he's still kind of sitting right on top of that wreck, so that's good for me because I can go in at range and basically jump in on top of him and get him tackled. So hopefully I'm going to land about 40 kilometers away from him, and he's right at 50, so that's actually a good spot. So at that point, I would kind of come in and not have my thing repaired. So basically,
okay. Look who has.
Uh-oh. He's in a mega. Okay.
Right. I'm not going near that thing.
So at this point, we're both fast, and I've got a friendly on grid, quote unquote. So I don't know if actually, oh shit, that could have been bad. I've escaped. I drifted into scram range briefly.
So was he looking at the mega that's going to land on that wreck in a second? There it goes.
So he's kind of floating around.
It's his ribs. Don't scram. Let me be.
So I'm just kind of floating around, and if I know that there's a friendly on grid and I know he's faster than, if he can be faster than me, I need to be relatively aware that I need to go in for the scram. So basically, in a fleet type scenario, I'd be waiting for somebody to say go in and scram it, and we usually call it a drive-by. Popular in kind of the tournament scenario, to where you can turn off their MWD, so they have to cycle through it. Basically, it's going to shut down their scram or their MWD for a cycle, and then they have to use the cap to recycle their MWD. So it actually gets a little irritating if somebody keeps doing a drive-by on you. So at this point, I'm just kind of floating around, waiting for my buddy to get close, and then he's actually going faster, so I need to turn into it and then kind of go in for that ninja again, shut off his MWD, and I'm getting red boxed by a Megathron. So at this point, I need to start moving very, very fast and get the fuck away, or I turn into the bigger target that has a very, very hard time hitting me.
Oh.
And then I basically turn into him, and I get a nice...
This is where we rage ping the alliance.
Yeah.
Works.
And hopefully I will be able to coast out of this. Yeah, I coasted out. But he still has me webbed, so he's got a very long web on that thing. There it goes. Now it's off. And, you know, I can get into a relatively loose orbit here and still have a nice long point on him. And basically I have to kind of be aware if he is going to, you know, hit a MW or MJD cycle. So he's moving at about 1,000 meters a second. So if I needed to, I would then turn back into him, and hope for a coast out, which may not happen because I cut into that a little too closely. So he's got his scram overheated on me so he can keep me for a longer period of time.
Oh,
No, I'm good. I'm good. Although I may have just burnt out my MWD. I burnt out my scram. So, all right. So that's the danger if you make mistakes. Is, for example, like I made some really big mistakes there. I basically cut into him a little too deeply, and I wasn't able to coast out of his scram, so he shut down my MWD and had me webbed. So my coast velocity was cut way down. So basically that made it harder for me to get out of his scram range to get my MWDs back on so I could reestablish a point on him. But I'm going to go rip my stuff up because I took a little bit of beating there.
just a little bit.
Correct. MWD is micro warp drive. That's my prop mod. Prop mod makes you go fast. I like going fast. So I have been requested to see if there is any type of matchup that you guys would like to see as far as tackle versus DPS. What would you guys like to see tackled as far as, you know, ship? So I'm going to be probably in some sort of fast tackle so you can kind of see my point of view as I go into tackle something. But is there a specific DPS ship that you guys would like to see snagged?
Moros.
Well, we might be able to do that, but I don't have Moros. Stream, I need a donation from Moros. I need a Moros, please.
Send it to the character handles Kashada.
It's partly a joke. They want a rattlesnake roam. But, we can do it.
Feel
We could probably do a dram.
a Dramio?
Yeah, they want to see a king wants to see a Dramiel get tackled.
Good luck.
Well, I mean, it can be done. Not easily, but it can be done.
Do I have a dram fit? I'm sure I do. For ease, I'm just gonna put on the mobility mods.
Okay, yeah, let's do a dram.
Sure.
Or vice versa. So, do you guys want to see me get tackled in the Dramiel as a Dramiel pilot, or do you want to see it the other way around? Do you want to see what it would be like for the tackle pilot to tackle the Dram? We can do it both ways. We'll do it both ways. What do you want to see first, however, is the question.
I've got the dram fit up, if you want to just go with that first.
Okay. CO is willing to fly one as well, so we'll
Let him tackle you the second time. You try and tackle me the first time.
yeah, that sounds good. Leaf, we do that every once in a while. All right. So basically, I see a Dramiel X kilometers away, and I want his nuts. And I don't have that reloaded, but we'll go get it. Holy shit, you're fucking fast.
These ships are nuts.
Holy shit.
It's me cold, bruh.
Jesus fuck. Like, I'm barely faster than you.
Yeah, these things are real good. That's why I like snakes DC 7k out of these things.
Yeah, I don't deny it. I don't doubt it. That's ridiculously fast. That's stupid. So as soon as I get my ancillary reloaded, I'll come in on you.
I don't have any guns, but I've just got
Say again?
mobility, and I don't have any guns, so you don't need to
Okay.
worry about that.
Alright. So pilot it like you would in a standard fight.
Sure.
Alright. So I'm coming in on you. God, this is freaking difficult. Basically, we're going to be slingshotting each other in and around. Holy crap.
I see an enemy on the forefront.
Alright. Okay, he's coming in. Alright, so I'm gonna burn out for a little bit and then come back in on it. I need to rep some heat. Holy crap, this is fast. So the speeds that we're working with right here are ridiculous. So what you're gonna see when you're working with such fast speeds is basically a continuous slingshot effect. So basically, if two people are approaching each other at the same kind of rate of speed, they're just gonna continually just do this. And that's kind of what was going on with me and Tiso. Because it's just a giant pain in the dick. Just with the speeds that we're working with. They're just so fast. Liquid is gonna depend. What is my... I mean, I have thermodynamics 4 and then paste consumption rate 3, something like that. I know it's worth it. I just have not gotten around to doing it myself. Is training those up to 5. So, oh shit, he's coming quick. So basically we're gonna start turning into each other here in just a moment. So right now Sio and I are gonna be in a nice little dance. And then he's gonna start turning back down into me. So this dance that we're doing is we're gonna just kind of turn around, and if he is able to kind of overheat burn into me, he's gonna kind of slingshot out and around past me until hopefully I can turn my MWD back on, but it looks like he caught me that time, so there wasn't enough speed for me to basically get out and around from him. Actually, hang on. No, he's letting me go. Okay, so it's turned back into me. Slingshotting. No, he hasn't slingshot me. He turned back into it just in time to stay right on top of me. And I didn't shut down his MWD. So basically at this point, as the tackle pilot, I am dead in the water. Basically with that utility note, he's able to keep me pretty well firmly fucked. So I can't run my tank, I can't run my prop mod, I can't do anything. So that's a difficult thing because I didn't realize that Drango was going to be that fast. Yeah, that's a good position. That's very, very good. So he has a lot of speed. So he's got an ancillary. Oh man. That's kind of cool. I like that. Yeah. Basically, that's a tackle fit, so he's just designed to basically crawl up on top of somebody as quickly as possible and sig tank their damage. He's faster than me, cold, which is very, very good for him. Alright, so we did that. Alright, what else would you guys like to see? Alright, so there was the Dram. TSO, CO, any ideas on your guys' part? Yeah, Zolik, the reason why I had 3 is because the fit that we run is a long point scram fit. That way, if I need to fully secure a tackle and shut down an MWD, I have that ability while still staying relatively safe with my speed tank. So I can kind of dive in for a drive-by scram, stop their MWD so they start using and burning more cap. Do-do-do-do. Alright, so. So, what kind of stabber were you gonna run? Are you gonna run that 180 AC stabber? $220. Okay. All right. So. Shit. All right.
I've got a frigate if you want to take a cruiser.
Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do next is do a, basically a 2v1. So Sio's going to be in a stabber, and I'm going to have Tiso tackle him in a frigate, and I'm going to get the warp in, and then, play the game like that. How do I want to run this? Okay, we'll run this one. All right, so whenever CO gets up there, we'll pull the trigger on this.
Okay, I think it worked there.
Alright, let me know when you have...
Going in.
Call tackle, when you can.
I would like to not bump off the station. Yeah, there we go, off the station. And warp. Okay, I warped in. I'm basically 0.
Okay.
Point.
Alright. So basically at this point, if he starts getting in trouble, which is relatively likely, I would then warp to 0. On my guy that has point, and then
Warp to me.
alright, in warp landing. Alright, you guys are 50 off, so you basically I have a little bit of a burn, so stand by.
I'm getting it.
Okay, I'm moving as quick as I can. So oh damn, you're done.
Yeah, I shouldn't have even tried that fight. It's the friggin' killer.
So the problem that I'm going to run into here is he's relatively fast, so I gotta try and get him scrammed. So he's got me long pointed. Now I have to basically slingshot him and try to get him into my scram range. So basically he's at a range that I am relatively comfortable at maintaining from him because I'm not taking a whole lot of damage. So what I really want to do is basically try to slingshot him into my scram web range. And this is where I want to be. I should probably pull damage.
Hey, Captain. He killed me. Kill him. Kill him?
Nah, I pulled it. I don't know if he wants me to continue pulling it,
Weak sauce.
but I'm gonna keep him neuted just in case. So I kind of did exactly what I needed to. I was able to slingshot him into my scram web range. I don't know if he intentionally pulled into it or not, but I was able to basically snag him and keep him there and then nude him out as far as his tank goes. So he's pulling away. He is coming back in. That heat right there is probably going to burn out half my mids, because I was at 99%. Oh, still 99%. Okay. Alright. So, next goal is, again, to slingshot him because he's still faster than me. I need to get him in a position where he's going to get caught by my scram. But since I don't have any heat left, that might prove to be relatively difficult. So he's got a good amount of speed on me. 2,400 meters a second versus, what, 18 if I'm lucky? Yeah, 1,200. right now I'm in a difficult position because he's not fallen for the slingshot. So he's manually piloting really well. So basically it's just kind of a waiting game to find out if there's going to be mistakes made on either side or not. So he's killing my drones. He's doing the same thing that I did to him. So now I gotta either try to break his long point, or get him tackled. So, damn it! All right, wasn't able to break it. Yeah, alright, so there's my MWD being burnt out, and that puts me in a difficult position. So I've got... Yeah. Okay, stopping. Alrighty. Damn. This Astero is fucked up. Alright.
Astero.
Yeah. Or Stratios, my bad. All right. All right, so there's that. That could have ended up better for both of us. Alright. Alright, what else would you guys like to see? Oh, if I was in that Astero, I would have been dead long before that. Although it was kind of a cool animation because when I was in space with all that damage, the force field or whatever you want to call it inside the ring here was flickering on and off. That was actually kind of cool.